Welcome to the chat. I'm your host, Angelo Remsen, and we're going to go ahead and continue episode 2 of reacting to Karens, okay? Trans Karens. Big shout out to Sky News Australia who came out with this compilation. Really awesome compilation. But we're about to continue to episode 2. If you guys haven't seen episode 1, that will also be in the description box below. Make sure I hit a like on this video. Let's get about 10 likes. That'd be super dope. We're like a new channel, so 10 likes is a lot for us. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right back into the compilation, guys. Let's continue. Let's keep it rolling.
Assumed in the full knowledge of these things. I mean, you can't tell me that a company is hiring someone without either going through their history themselves or getting someone else to go through their history. Like, I get that they farm this stuff out to talent agencies or whatever, but if you've got a talent agent trying to sell someone, like, they surely look into someone before they go and represent them because they know it's going to blow back on them. Why do companies keep using transgender activists to market a product to people who, I would imagine, in most cases, are not terribly sympathetic to what these people are trying to sell them?
You've got to wonder if it was a mistake by Doritos. They didn't do enough sort of due diligence on this person because it took people on the internet about 10 minutes to dig up all of these quotes and realise you've got what appears to be a pedophile promoting your product. But have a look at Doritos' own website and see if maybe it doesn't make sense after all. They say on their own website where it says about Doritos, Doritos isn't just a chip, it's fuel for disruption. Our flavours ignite adventure and inspire action. With every crunch, we aim to redefine culture and support those who are boldly themselves. Are you ready? If so, crunch on. Well, I don't know that many people will be crunching on. I think Doritos will go the way of Bud Light, Target and many other organisations that have sought their moment in the sun by using transgendered people to corrupt the youth of our current culture.
Athletes have always been at the centre of trans meltdowns. Sky News All-Star James McPherson says it's a no-brainer for trans athletes to be banned from women's football.
You mentioned Sam Kerr.
Yes.
Let's go to the UK for a second because the English Football Association is being asked by the UK Cultural Minister to consider banning transgendered women, that is biological men, from playing in the women's competition. Now, I'm quite surprised, Liz, that they haven't done this already. Cricket have done it, swimming have done it. You'd think soccer or football is an obvious example where biological men would have an advantage. I did a quick check before we came on air.
That's
and if
true.
you just Google articles involving transgendered women playing soccer who are either injuring other players or dominating the league, I mean, you're spoilt for choice in terms of news articles speaking about it. But the Football Association is saying, well, we've got to balance inclusion with safety and fairness. I would have thought when it comes to sport, inclusion has got nothing to do with it.
No.
It's about safety and fairness.
Yeah, it should be safety and fairness. And it used to be safety and fairness. Men would there would be small men. I'm kind of a smaller man myself, but I wouldn't put a wig on and compete against women, or I wouldn't want to compete against women if I was able to do cross sport activities. That defeats the whole purpose of the competitive aspect that men or women have, because men have similar physical capabilities. I could go toe to toe with a 6-foot dude. I could go toe to toe with a 6'4" dude. I'm a pretty tough guy. And but women, a woman that's 6 foot going against a man that's 6 foot, that's where there's a huge problem, because a woman that's 6 foot, she's gonna be a lot more slim. She's gonna be a lot more. She ain't gonna have that bone. She ain't gonna have that muscle. It's gonna be a tougher situation. Whereas smaller men or taller men, that we could compete with each other. We could handle it. We could figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the women. So that's why I don't understand, why are we separating the sports? Why are we separating the genders? Like, why are we connecting the genders? Why are we intertwining the genders? Why are we having men go to women and men go to men? It just don't make no sense at all. Really don't.
When it comes to sport. And on the subject of inclusion, every biological man that plays in a women's competition is excluding a woman who should have been there by virtue of the fact it's her competition.
And it's the same across the board, no matter what sport you look at. I mean, the reason why there was women's sport and men's sport separate in the first place is because we universally recognise men have bigger muscle mass, bone density, you name it, they've got it. They are stronger in every single way, physically, and hence nobody ever thought historically they should play together because we already knew who would win and who would get hurt. This obviously is a no-brainer. You do wonder if the Football Association is just being seen to take their time reviewing it rather than come out and be like, yep, we're getting rid of it as well.
It's a complex issue.
Oh, it's so complex. So complex.
And Rita Panahi has revealed a shocking incident where a female player was injured by a trans woman during a basketball match in the US.
That's sad.
Now let's have a look at this footage.
That's
A
just crazy.
biological male playing against a team of women. It's a women's competition. And when you look at this footage, you can see why it's not surprising that several of the women
3 women? Okay.
were injured.
That's crazy. That's crazy how I'm not laughing at the fall. I'm laughing at dude. You can clearly tell which one's the trans in the back, bro. You can clearly tell, bro. Oh my gosh. That dude is tall, bro.
Stephanie, that
Ooh-wee.
game had to be cancelled midway through because there were 3 players injured. How many incidents do we need to have, whether it's amateur sport or even in professional ranks, before there is a hard and fast rule that if you're born male, you can play sport, but only with the men's competition. You cannot participate against women in women's only competitions.
Absolutely, Rita. That
Where
is
are the
great
fathers
question.
at?
How many injuries do we need before we bring it back to biological sex? We know
Where are
there
the
differences
dads?
between men and women, boys and girls. We know
This
that
is
when
crazy.
men go through male puberty, they have greater lung capacity, increased muscle mass, they are stronger, they are higher, they are faster. And so it's no wonder when these men decide to put on a dress and identify into a women's sporting team.
It's an unfair advantage.
It is happening time and time again, and we
Yeah.
need national guidelines. We need Claire Chandler's Save Women's Sport bill now.
Absolutely, and we have seen in sports where injuries aren't a concern, just the unfairness of it, because you have often very mediocre athletes, mediocre in the men's competition, and they identify as women going to the women's competition, and suddenly they're dominating because men are stronger, faster, and that is just a biological reality. That's why we've got men's and women's competitions. That's why we don't all compete together. I mean, this stuff is simple. It shouldn't need any sort of discussion or explanation, but here we are.
Rita Panahi also slammed this trans athlete who had the audacity to mock biological female athletes.
Now, only lefties losing it don't appreciate that men and women are different. That's why there are different categories in sport. But some men who identify as women and have the nerve to compete in women's sport, where they have a massive unfair advantage, then have the added nerve of mocking women who are not as strong as they are. Check out this weightlifter who is dominating in the women's competition.
Welcome to Anne Says Something Controversial.
Look at this dude's big old arms for a minute, man. Look at this dude's big old arms. This dude's arms like bigger than mine. I'm kind of like, I ain't a big muscular dude, but I'm a man, bro. Like you could tell this dude's arms is like a dude's arms, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Why is
His arms are huge though.
so bad? I mean, not compared to me. We all know that I'm a tranny freak, so that doesn't count.
Nah, you not a tranny freak, bro. You not a you a tranny and you're a freak, but you're not a tranny freak, bro. Now a tranny freak would be if Shaq or LeBron James or I don't know, Tyrone were to put a wig on. That would be a trans freak, and we haven't seen none of those. Usually it's the wimpy, weak, and men that can't seem to make it in their own gender bracket of sports that want to transition into women's bracket and then get all the fame and glory. Those weaklings. You're more like a trans weakling, to be honest.
I know we're not talking about Mackenzie Lee. She's got little T-Rex arms, and she's like 400 pounds of chest muscle, apparently.
Bashing women, though.
Standard bench in powerlifting competition for women. I literally don't understand why it's so bad. My son, he weighs...
You talking so much smack, bro, about these women, bro. Even though they're so, let's just say, I don't want to necessarily say foolish, but they're so easily manipulated because, you know, women, their emotions. They're so kind to even to even allow and even play on a sport on a team with you. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now, that wouldn't happen in male sports. Men wouldn't just willingly, well, most good men, right, wouldn't just willingly bash women around if women were to become part of a men's sport. We would treat them a certain way, and we've seen this in certain clips that we've seen on the internet. Men aren't finna just tear them to pieces. But men, well, these weak men, will go on a women's team and then do whatever they want to them. And these women are so kind to do this. Meanwhile, this dummy over here just talking, bashing them, this, that, and the third, acting like he don't have advantage hormonal wise. He don't have an advantage physically. Look at his big old gorilla arms. He ain't got all these different advantages, bro. That's what don't make no sense about the LGABC community. How these fools just cover up common sense.
45 pounds.
Like it's going out of style.
Is like 33. I'm legit seeing some women in competition who are doing something like 50 pounds, and I just don't understand it.
The things I could say, I'm almost thinking he's having a laugh there.
I really wish you would say that, okay? This Sky News host, I don't know who she is, but I really like her style. I wish she would say it, because she wouldn't be wrong. She wouldn't be wrong, and I'm sure I know what she's probably thinking.
Not serious, but I'll just limit it to this. Mediocre male athletes who have no chance in the men's competition should not be taking opportunities from female athletes.
Bam. Tear them to pieces. That's what I'm talking about. So big shout out to Sky News Australia. Their full video, we just watched it, will be in the description below. Make sure y'all go ahead and check them out. I might or might not cut this into 2 parts because this was a very long one, or I might just post the whole thing, who knows. But let me know what y'all thinking though. Was y'all agreeing with me that this transgender nonsense is starting to get way too out of hand? Let me know what y'all are thinking in the comment section below. But y'all pretty much know where I'm at. I don't mess with it at all. I think it's anti-God. I think it's satanic. I think it's of the devil. I think it's crazy. I think it's dumb, and it don't make no sense, and it's getting a lot of young women hurt that don't need to be getting hurt out here, and in more ways than just physically. I mean, emotionally hurt. These women are really trying their best. I mean, they're benching what, 50 pounds? That's probably really the best they could do, and they, in their weight class, that's probably a really good number to be hitting for women. And these men are just coming over here. Obviously, I bench around near 300 myself. But I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? But these women, they're built differently. They're sized differently. They're not even as tall as us. And you got this a-hole who's I don't know why nobody's dad came up and at least went to homeboy and at least told him what he's doing is wrong, and he need to get it together or something along those lines. You know, maybe don't assault him. I'm not calling nobody assault the man, but to at least approach him and let him know, hey, you're a bad person. You're taking away opportunities from my daughter. Where are these men at? And again, I don't want to bash the men. I mean, I know this is kind of a weird dilemma and a weird time we're in, but I still wouldn't allow it. If I was a father during these times, I would at least say something. But that's all we got for today. Leave a comment below what y'all are thinking about it. Other than that, it's green.